All right, let's jump right in. Think about this. If you're only looking at the very last click a customer makes before they buy something from you, well, you're missing pretty much the whole story, right? I mean, customers almost never just show up, click once, and buy. Their journey is way more complex. It's a whole series of different interactions they have with you. And that brings us to the big million-dollar question, doesn't it? The one that keeps so many marketers up at night. Which channel really deserves the credit for that sale? I mean, all those different touch points, which one was the most important? Well, guess what? That is the exact problem that full funnel attribution modeling is here to solve. Okay, so before we get to the solution, we've got to meet the villain of our story. I call it the last click lie. It's the default setting for most businesses, and honestly, it can be super deceiving.
Here, let me show you exactly what I mean.
So let's walk through a typical customer journey. Picture this. It all starts with discovery, right? Maybe someone finds a really helpful blog post that you wrote. This is their very first interaction with your brand. The seed has been planted.
Then, maybe a few days go by. They're just browsing the web, and boom, they see one of your retargeting ads. It's a little reminder about your brand and what you do, just enough to keep you top of mind. Okay, now they're interested, so they decide to subscribe to your newsletter. They get an email, they open it, they actually engage with what you've sent them. You're not just a random brand anymore, you're actually building a relationship here, nurturing that initial spark. And finally, when the time is right, when they're ready to pull the trigger, they go straight to Google, type in your brand name, click the link, and make a purchase. Awesome, you've made a sale. But here's the kicker. Here's the lie. With last click attribution, that final search, it gets 100% of the credit. That's right, the blog post that started it all, 0 credit. The retargeting ad that kept you in their mind, nothing. The email that built trust, zilch. And this is so dangerous because it leads to absolutely terrible decisions, like cutting your budget for the exact channels that are actually bringing new people in. But there is a much, much better way to do this. So let's bring in the hero of our story, full funnel attribution. It's all about stepping back and seeing the entire journey, not just the last little piece of it. So, what is this thing exactly? Well, attribution modeling is just a fancy way of saying it's the process of assigning value, giving credit, to all those different marketing touchpoints a customer hits on their way to buying something. It's not a winner-take-all game anymore. It's about distributing that credit fairly across the whole journey.
And this is where it gets really cool, because once you do this, it unlocks so much insight. It's like all the puzzle pieces finally snap into place. You can actually see what's driving awareness at the top of your funnel. You know what's influencing their decisions in the middle, and you know what's actually closing the sale at the end. You start to see how things like social media and email marketing are working together, not as separate things. You finally get the true, full picture of your marketing's impact.
Now, I gotta be clear. This is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are actually several different models you can use. A great way to think about them is like different lenses for a camera. Each one lets you see your data from a slightly different angle, and each one helps you answer a different question depending on what your goals are. So let's take a quick look at the main options here. You've got first click, which is awesome if your main goal is awareness. You want to know what brought people to you in the first place. Last click, well, we've talked about that guy already. Then there's linear, which is super simple. It just splits the credit evenly across every single touch point. Time decay is a bit more nuanced. It gives more credit to the interactions that happen closer to the sale. And then you have the really sophisticated one, data-driven, which basically uses algorithms and machine learning to figure out the credit distribution for you. Okay, so that's all the theory. But you're probably thinking, how do I actually do this, right? So let's break it down into a really simple 4-step action plan to get you started. Step 1, you've got to map out your customer's journey. I mean, every touch point, from that first ad they see to the last blog post they read. Step 2, track your data. You need to make sure you have clean, connected data across all your channels, using tools like Google Analytics or your CRM. Step 3, choose your model. Pick one that actually fits your business goals. And hey, you can even test a few to see which gives you the best insights. And finally, step 4, and this is the most important part. You take what you've learned and use it to optimize your strategy. You start making smarter decisions. And when you make this shift, the change is, well, it's huge. You literally go from just guessing what works to a whole new world of predictable, data-driven growth. It's a total game changer. I mean, look at this comparison. It says it all. The before is last click. Incomplete data,
Bad decisions, wasted money. You're basically just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks. But the after, with full funnel, now you've got the full picture. You have a real data-driven strategy. Your investments are optimized. You actually know what works.
So, when it all boils down, this is the key takeaway. When you actually measure the full journey, your marketing decisions don't just get a little bit better. No, they become fundamentally smarter and way, way more effective.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own marketing strategy right now. Are you building it based on the whole story, or are you just making your most important decisions based on the very last page?